not happy what I will say. Alright, and the second point, it will be short, we'll think about why we need to start with small site, but keep in mind how to scale it in the future. The third one is the Azure, what is it, why to use it, and what can we do with it. Then I'll try to show you how to start with the small website and move it to the corporate level with about 10 slides and 4 or 5 changes in web configs and code. This is not a tech presentation. I will not be writing code. I'll just show you what to change, and even IT guy will do it, and your developers definitely will be able to do those changes. And if we will have some time before the lunch, I'll speak a few words about maintenance, how to keep the projects going, and what tools we could use to make less efforts. Because I think you all developers, you like fancy code, but if something works with minimal code and you can drink code, it's okay for you. So that's what we try to achieve with this presentation. And this is a quick slide of what I do mainly. I started to work, at first my name is Michał, and there's an email to me at the bottom of this presentation. I'm a partner with managing partner in the software company, and we're focusing mostly on mobile and website solutions like the Umbraco, which we'll be talking about. I have lots of .NET experience, maybe not the biggest one in here, because you're all the best, but I started to code in .NET 1.1, and then I took part in the Imagine Cup, then worked a few years in the corporate, and then decided to leave to start doing better project than the corporate, boring, calculating invoices, etc. But when I moved to Umbraco and started to search for customers, I got back to the corporate and have to find some great ideas, how to sell them, something which is open source, how to show them value of something they don't know, because corporate also, like Marcin said, there's a Sidecar, which is not so really bad, but it's awful costly, and Umbraco has great attitude. And there's a SharePoint, which anybody likes SharePoint in here? Can Sebastian? No. And anybody tried to make an extension for SharePoint ever? And you don't like it? Yeah. Yeah, so that's why we moved to Umbraco also. And right now, my mission is like to introduce the corporate way of design with big reliability to smaller companies, to show them that with affordable price we can make a fight with big corporates and have a better technology than them. Right now I'm responsible for a lot of projects in financial, automotive, insurance, and some of Polish public sector. And the webs are mainly based on Umbraco. And here's a slide which is not really readable, but if you see here, I think most of you knows this brand. It's Automapa. And we moved their services. It's for those who are outside of Poland, it's Polish biggest navigation provider. We moved their website to Umbraco, and the website has many touching points because of it. .NET, we could really nice integrate it with their licensing system and etc. And it really keeps going, have very big SLA, which is very important from the client. And there's 100,000 of users every day, and Umbraco is managing. The second one is Rental Butler, is for our Canadian client. It's a website with luxury estates. So for clients from that level, it's the most important thing is every time I go to the website, I have it in seconds. And they don't want to wait. And there's also Umbraco can handle that, and there's not many clients, but it's always online. That's what was the target. The third one, when the brand is removed, because it should be removed from this presentation because of this camera. It's a Polish mobile payment provider for B2C and B2B business. We also load balancing this page, and it's 100% Umbraco and some .NET features added to that. And this page also has about hundreds of thousands of users, but not a daily basis, but hourly. And it's still, Umbraco is making really big idea. And the fourth project, it's Mamazon, Polish mother care portal. That's when I'm talking about this portal, I met Marcin for the first time. We found it on Umbraco 4. It was really fight to put it back, add load balancers, and remove it from the physical server room. And the biggest point of that, it has a article database for about 800,000 nodes. And it's working with HTML generation with less than a second. So I think Umbraco is doing the job, and Azure also. So that's the use cases, and all the presentation I'll show is based on these use cases. It's like we were working and we find, all right, let's do it this way, and check and modify it. And are there any business owners in here? All right. So when we think that we will need to scale. So what is your main goal in your business? What do you have to do? Revenue only? It's satisfaction, or maybe, yeah. That's what you do. And during your business, the main purpose is to grow, really. You want to grow it, because revenue won't give you, bigger revenue will give you a few months. If you grow, you can sell it, you can make more people, you grow. You want to grow, you want to get more customers, and more customers needs more powerful tools. And when we started a website for anyone with Umbraco or any other CMS, I will not use names in here, you have to keep in mind that the clients you are starting to work that is meant to grow. And you want to grow with him. So when you go into local grocery, keep in mind in a few years it might be a multi-market in every selling those tomatoes or where they start to sell. And the solution you provide should be able to handle that seamlessly without, costs will be extra, but without many effort from your side. So if it's bad design at the beginning, you won't go with it, and the developers you work in will use swear words on your design. And if you design it good, you can handle this. So think, when you do the project, just think in years future, and that's how Umbraco is also doing. You see 7, and all the updates go seamlessly, gives us more power. In 4 it was bad, not that bad like others that way, but it was bad comparing to what we have now. And your solution based on Umbraco should also have the timeline to think how it will grow. And scaling is also time effective. This one here is our users number on a day basis. As it's from one of the portals, but this is a case. So 45,000 users on our base. It's not, but it's almost 40. And what we can see, the growth it's not linear like it was on the other. We're growing number of users, but the service we provide has to be so smooth to handle them when they want. You cannot tell people, okay, there's 40,000 of people and you have to queue. No, all our customers want to buy right now and we have to provide them at the time they want. As you can see here, is quite funny story about that also. Here's an hour each day. It's average, but each day. And can you see here? It's from the mother baby. So this is the time when the husband goes home. Moms use the internet for the first time. Most are feed the kid, open the laptop. Yeah, it's 10. He left at 8, and we all have to buy and talk with our friend moms on the forum. So that's like here, and then we have to go to get our kids from primary school, get some walking, exercising, whatever, and then husband is coming from work, and we don't have to talk with the kids anymore, and there's a peak. We talk only with the women we know from the internet. We're buying stuff, we're doing whatever we want. And if we do the service for average, this is the part we don't sell. And our customers is really unhappy about it because he wants to sell here and paid for this. So how to achieve that? Yeah, he wants to have big sales one time in a day. And that's where the okay. There's the peaks we have to do. I forgot about it. And here's the Yoda. He'll tell us what to do. And how to say, we don't want to scale for the maximum, because if we scale for the maximum, we overburn multi-resources. We don't want it. Because 40,000 users for 1 hour, it's not so big as 40,000 servers prepared for 40,000 users each day. So we're wasting 23 hours a day. So what we need to is to scale or automatically our servers. In here we'll be talking about scale out, so dynamically putting the number of instances to make servers more responsible and how to make it with Umbraco, how to load balance it, and how to choose the metrics on each we want to scale, because we can choose scaling on server properties like CPU, memory, on number of requests, or we can just back to the chart and think, all right, 11 o'clock every day, mom's coming home, let's scale barely only on time basis, do not do it. Are there any engineers in here? Any guys who are studying like engineering, electrical engineering, software? All right. Do you have had something, the subject on university which was called, how it was called in English? In Polish it was called Teoria sterowania. It's theory of control. No? Yeah. All right. So you'll be telling everybody, and I'll be and I'll become silent. Yeah. It's quite easy. We'll coming back to it later. And what says Yoda? We must go to cloud, because there's only place when we can pay only for the resources we are using and not for the one we are burning. So perfect choice. And what he says also, optimize your code, because you're all coders, we're all coders, we're good, we'll never say we do bad things, but Seriously. When you go to toilet, look at the mirror and say, I do only good code. Yeah, that's how it works. And a little history of how the Azure kicks in. So, anybody know here when Azure was announced for the first time? When Microsoft said it? It was 2008, so it's really long time. Yeah, but they failed and they released them at 2008. And first time we were doing a project on Azure, we were using mainly virtuals and many things like provided with normally we do. We just move the physical servers to the cloud, and later we learned it was a bad idea. So when you see that, you won't do the same mistakes. And in 2012, I think, they introduced something called Azure Websites with Deployments Plan, which I'll be talking today about this and how to use it, because it's a PaaS architecture. It's platform as a service, so we don't care where it is. We don't care what operating system. It's Microsoft, so we know what the operating system is. But there's no IT guy, so we don't really care about the IT guys. Someone does the job for us. And the other good thing, Umbraco goes well with Microsoft, and Microsoft was pushing Umbraco for some time in Poland, really March. It's really good paired, because it's .NET, and Azure has all the services SDK in .NET. So if you need to add some search, use different modules from Azure, or machine learning if you need, you can just NuGet package, add the Umbraco, works. And I said it, and I will say it 30 times more on this presentation, it's built by resources we are consuming. It's not built by like in the 90s, when you have this scenario, the corporate manager said, all right, we have 40,000 clients. Make a budget, buy servers. I don't want them to wait. And when the business grows, he goes to the board and said, all right, we need to double our servers. And what we do with the servers now, because we're started to work with Azure a long time, and last year we started using our last server, development server, as a beautiful coffee table, because it's not worth to buying them. They are really nice as furniture, but you don't want them anymore because there are no IT guys, and you have to want them to watch it. So that was 90s. Now we have 2016. And now we don't want to have servers until, or if you're corporate, you want them because it's good. They're nice. You can show them, oh, we're getting rich. We have 5,000 servers, and whoa. But if you're not a cloud provider, you don't want them. And the most important thing, because as I told you, I'm working with big organizations, banks, automotive, insurance. This is the green point. It's something which really cuts off our clouds, other clouds from the business. Because we're in EU, and privacy regulations are so strict that storing personal data, like the registrations in other cloud providers, which allow the data to move outside the union territory, makes us bad. And makes us really bad. And Microsoft is giving a really good paper from the lawyers just to show how to translate Gyodo. All right. For those who are not in Poland. we have an institution, government institution, which checks when you start to collecting user data. You have to notice them, all right, I'll be collecting private information, and it will be there. And Microsoft giving their paper to show them, okay, we're Microsoft, we're storing them for them, and we guarantee it will not be outside the union. So it's quite good for us developers because we don't care where we store it. It's safe. We won't pay fines. And the other thing, which is all the .NET hosting, it's quite expensive. And when we think of scaling, we can say, so what? Really, when you buy a server for 1,200 users, it's expensive. But when you just count the cost based on the user number which is attending, the higher scale you get, the single user cost goes down. And that's really what is important for our clients, because the revenue comes from the users, and they paying us and Azure for, if they don't have revenue, they don't pay. If we just give them lots of users with single user small cost, it will be okay. And there are some ways to make this cost much smaller. All right, that was theory, and then we go to services, what we might need to set up Umbraco efficiently. So app services, it's something which kicks in in 2012. It's something that you can, it's a pass. Everybody knows what is pass? Anybody doesn't know? All right. It's a pass, so you can we can choose from different technologies. It's normal IIS, and it will host Umbraco perfectly. The other thing is storage, which is normal, some disk connected with NAS interface, with nice .NET APIs. We want to use them. Azure SQL is, and the most important thing is this one. We don't want to have virtual machine with instance SQL. Why? Because we don't need IT guys. Let them maintain this SQL for us, and we could choose how to scale it, because we just want to know, all right, this SQL must survive this amount of requests, and that's our problem. We don't want to know if it has a service pack free. We don't want to know if it's backup every day, because let someone handle that for us. CDNs is something which is quite new to Azure. There was before, but they didn't was on that scale, because Azure made a deal with bigger CDNs providers, and we don't have to use standard Microsoft one. And when we have to just CDN something, there's a really good strategy. Akamai Asia, Verizon, any other way. So that's how it works with us. And the web jobs is a feature of app services, which gives us ability to do some scheduled jobs, but also on PaaS platform. We don't want to have a dedicated server to run scheduled tasks. We just put it to the app services, and the web jobs will utilize its power when it's free. We can do continuous runs, and it's really good. There's a load balancer in Azure. It's called Traffic Manager. Right now it's called Traffic Manager Profiles or Traffic Manager Classic, because they changing name every manager change. And what it give us is simple load balancing in the cloud. So it's DNS driven. So we just set up the point, and we choose services which we want to balance, and it goes straight. That will be on another slides. And for the really, really big customers, we also need replication feature for SQL Server, because some clients want them, even if the Microsoft Island will go down, they want to have the site back online in a few seconds. So that's the feature we will use for the biggest clients. All right, I'm talking too much. And what we do want at all, it's we can. Nobody want to say what we don't want to use and why? Yeah, and we don't want, because we need the IT guy to says, all right, it will be down. I need to make an update of .NET, or I need to run Service Pack 4, because Microsoft wants me to do that. We don't want to do it. And the SLA is much harder to manage when you have to deal with all this stuff. And where to start? This is the standard Umbraco. What we do, we have some IIS, and we have SQL machine. And simple as it is. But what we have to do is just to remove this and publish Umbraco into our first web app, and then script SQL database for Azure. It sounds easy, sounds nice, but what we have to do is the first thing in Umbraco, it has a auto-publish feature. It's a task which runs and publish, and when we moved here, our loopback becomes unavailable because we shared resources with others. We cannot say localhost go back, just publish something. We need to change this feature to our domain and go through with routing like and back then through DNS to run this process. That's the first thing, which will fail. Probably on your first websites you don't know it because you will have no scheduled task. But if you have a website with scheduled task, you have to keep in mind there's no loopback. The other thing, on Azure SQL Server, you just cannot move the database straight ahead. All the script engines are scripting features that are not in Azure SQL Azure, because SQL Azure has a lot of cuts. But I tell later how to deal with them. The first one is that you have to share security context with all your databases and with the other users. So when you go to Management Studio, you can choose here an option in advanced not to script everything, but to script only for Azure SQL database. It will omit user context, schemas which cannot be there, because it's not the on-premise. It's a shorter version. But if we just remember on that, it will do no much effort. So with only this one line of code and choosing correct options, we're migrated to the cloud. Woohoo! And every time at this presentation, when I'm telling web app, I mean Azure deployment plan. It's like this shelf. Yeah, this is Azure deployment plan, and each book it's app. What it means, we can share one plan between many websites, which are smaller, and they share resources, and this is how we make it cheaper. We can load balance people, because moms are getting up at 10, and some other guys are going to work at 12. So if we choose a good shelf, maybe a good book collection for the shelf, we can use one environment, which is in here, to manage clients from different regions even. And what is really important, there's a premium tier of that, and don't bother, don't even read about it, because standard tier is everything we need for Umbraco except one really big feature I will be telling at the end, and it doesn't really matter. Oh, I have 5 minutes. All right, this is shared features. I'll need to go further. The other thing is that Umbraco is storing media, and we want to really not to allow users how to speed it up, allow users to get the media from web app. Why? No ITs, but IIS is really bad CDN. We don't want single user to download from that. All we need, we want to just outsource the storage static content provider from IIS. Thank you. And this is how we do. This is our Umbraco, SQL, which we had before, and we added storage. HTMLs go here, static contents go here. Static content, we could also make go further. This is how we install that one. And static content, it's also we can think of layouts, JavaScripts, and everything which is, but there's a tip, because in standard, the blobs are not returning headers for the content. So if you do not, you can do it in the web jobs or whatever way you want. Make sure you put this line code somewhere in Umbraco, Uploader, or some job to make your blob less accessible for users. They will do it once and they will cache it in the browsers, because blobs are cheap, but the transfer from them is not. And what we want to do is to put as much static content to user cache. So when he will, or she, on the mama zone, will come again, the cache will not be. And this is a few lines of code, I tell you, but I look at so I tell you only this. This is a container name. When you do, all this data will become from clickable. You just click, 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 and you have this connection string can be clicked from the Azure portal. So I'll just speed it up a little. The other thing, which we'll be thinking of, it's how to speed it this really, because there are users from different regions in Poland, and we want to add another kickoff to be the first on the market and users to visit our site. So we put the storage replication to content network, Verizon, for example, and it also has click and play configuration. We don't need to code anything except this little features. We still put blobs here. This will replicate automatically after we click it. And we only need to add a writer to Umbraco to rewrite all the media links. So users start to download it from the content network. How it works? We just add the content network profile, choose storage like here, and choose storage account. It will replicate here, and voila, we're winning. And if we're smart enough, and this website is really static and users are not doing many changes, we can think even of, you see what is available in here, in our Azure configuration, it's web app. So we could even put it in here as a big cache. And new Azure is able to, you can even choose, and the advanced options I didn't put it everything because I have only 5 minutes left. So you can also choose to handle requests with query strings. So it can literally cache every request. And there's unlimited power with the Emperor. And what we need to do if we have all these things, but the IIS is down, because that's our weakest link right now. The best thing we should do is to allow it to scale up. So when we choose the deployment plan, we have this first shelf, and when the users comes, we want to have 3 of them. So that is what this feature of auto-scaling in the deployment plan does, really. It multiplies. But what would happen right now, all the instances do not share resources. So in this case, this is absolutely a must, and the other one is here. It's not an Umbraco feature, but your own .NET developers. So you have to put the session out of the IIS, because one user goes. We don't want sticky sessions. We want users just do the round robin, and that's what we focus about. And we should choose some performance rules. This is counters, which Azure just provide for us. And looking that, we see, and here's the moment when scale out occurred. This 80% drop down because it added another option, and then somewhere here it just puts out. For Umbraco, we really use only these 2 counters, because reading from database is CPU sensitive and cache is memory sensitive. Whatever runs first out, we choose to scale on certain level. And here's the colleague who said what is theory control. Yeah, okay, you may say how to do that. Okay, all right, so 5 minutes. Speak faster, all right. 5 minutes still. How to install a SQL session. If you just, you're all hungry, you want me to go home, but I came from Warsaw at 5 o'clock, so I won't let you go out very fast. This is, if you just get this presentation then, put this into Google, and you get a script to make it, make a SQL session instead of memory one, and it goes fine. Then copy this to your web config. But there's one big thing you should remember, because we don't have on-premise scheduler, this tip here. You need to run this SQL command somewhere, because the session will grow and will never clean up, because we're running on Azure, we don't have tasks. So we can use Umbraco feature just to do the task, or put simple command up, just running this command all the time. WebJob. WebJob is a feature. Oh, it's here, even, but it's not very good visible. You go to web application, scroll down, WebJob, add one, and upload your exec. Simple as that, and works perfectly. There's one feature which we had problems many times, that the admin does not scale well. If you have big scale, in here, many instances, admin goes to lockup sometimes, admin panel, with many users editing at the same time during scale out and scale operation. So we just add another plan, which is only one instance all the time, hard-coded, and it just is used just for editing and testing on the different domain. And here's what we do also, because users are only users, and they don't care that they should edit from here. There's another web config rule which cuts the admin panel from here. So they have to know the address. And it can be done different way, like making a MS build which will cut off the admin libraries from Umbraco during the, but it's not the point. You must remember that whatever you say to users, they will throw it off and don't remember. Just keep in mind they will, if they can broke something, they will do it definitely. And there's a banking side case, the biggest one, and what we need to do. There's some companies which are like their site so much, they don't want to go down anytime, anywhere, and they don't care about the money. So that's the issue with banks. And this is what we started, yeah? That was here and here. And after this one is auto-scaling, we have to add the traffic manager feature, which I was talking, this is here, but the services name are hidden for obvious reason. What it does, it gives web requests to all these web apps with selected priority, and if it gets any message except 200 OK, it will redirect to another site. Its load balancing is done in pairs, because in Azure all regions are paired. Each service can be run in paired regions, like in here. If we go to SQL, we can choose another base which will act as slave. So even if Microsoft will go down in Ireland in here, we can have another one in Netherlands. So and this one goes normally because you can choose just proper option and CDN do the job. So all you need is to provide the way to not lose those one, and this is the point. The big tip on that is this needs the Azure standard names. So if we do that, we need to give custom robots text file to disallow Google search our copies, because it will ruin the SEO. That's the big. All right, and there's another feature which we can do to make it faster about Umbraco. It's here. It's just caching page. When we want to put the pages very fast, 51 minutes. When we want to make pages really fast, we could add a macro for each page, which is not changed very often, and cache it eternally. So it will go just straight from cached. And the other thing which we can do, sorry, I'm moving fast, so I have much more to say. So we'll talk about with beer. And the other thing we could cache really fast is searches. When user like Mama is really good. In winter, mom's searching two things: illnesses and how to dress a kid when it's snowing. So when you get a snow or ill keyword, we don't search SQL. We just give them fully cached search, which is prepared for some keywords. And it's in there, we're using memory for that, and it's much faster than to look to SQL Server. And I think it's the last slide. Yeah, it's the last one. It's the most important when we do the scaling is to get alerted what's going down, because we have no IT guys, and our clients don't care. And Azure has a good alert engine. You can alert everything, but I just mentioned the ones we are using. We are using scale up or scale down events just to get an email for every deployment. Failure, because sometimes it really happens. Azure don't have resources to give us a new instance really fast. And the metrics which are used for scaling. So normal mail sequence, because it has 5 minutes time frame before something happens. It's like CPU is high, scale up. CPU is down, scale down. So it's like you get this, it's okay. If you get this email, you have to get different mailbox for that and just get yourself a Wi-Fi point. So, but mostly it works good. And the other thing which comes with Azure, it's application insights. If you get the Microsoft, what it's called? It's this program when you get the tools for free. BizSpark. When you go for BizSpark, they will give you enterprise tools. So with those tools, you can design web tests for your app, like recording. You have a website and you want to check if it flows okay. You just record your actions on a website and schedule it on a even daily basis. And if test fails on something, you get an email, so be prepared. And the other thing is performance test, which is really good tool when you running contests or your client doing some marketing and you just wait for the traffic to flow. You can choose a custom location and float and also schedule it on some basis to make it work. But I think I should be finishing, so thank you. And there's a bonus slide of me after work, so we can chat during beer. I'll do motorbike, skiing, and obstacle running, and I like really sugar. Every drink with sugar is good. So thank you, and sorry for your time, because I miscalculated.